Hi there, welcome to Diosas Ex Maquinas. Today we're going to be doing a reading, but first we're going to center ourselves with an art meditation. You will need, if you're going to follow along with me, you're going to need a piece of paper. This is a 5.5 by 8.5. It's not very big, so again, we're not covering a ton of surface area. You're going to need a stencil, so it could be any animal print. I've specifically chosen leopard, but it could be cow, it could be giraffe, it could be zebra, whatever you want. And this is a smaller stencil so that it fits easily on top of our paper. Then I've got these acrylic markers. The numbers for each of these will be in the description box, but very simply, it's 3 shades of orange, so a dark one, a medium, and a light. It's 3 shades of pink, so again, kind of like a magenta, a regular pink, and then a light pink. We've got 2 shades of blue, so regular blue and then a sky blue. And then we've got our purple, red, green, white, and yellow. And last but certainly not least, we've got these Colorations Tempera paint sticks, color like me. And let's get into it. I'm gonna bring you down to the desk. And hopefully you can see okay. So we're just gonna start with our paint sticks. And something about these paint sticks, I've only used them once, is that the tube is not the same color as the paint itself. So this is actually going to be great for our meditation because we're just going to go with the flow. And we're just going to start by dragging this paint stick down our down the length of our piece of paper. And I've got pretty toothy paper, so it's gonna take a few passes for all of the grit to get filled in. I could use smoother paper, but then the pigment doesn't show up as well. So I'm making my choices. Next, we're going in with this color, whatever color it's gonna be. And honestly, this is an excellent indication of how life is sometimes. You think something's gonna be one way based on how it appears, and you're so right to think that it's gonna be one way. And then you open the tube and it's completely different than what you anticipated. And then you go to use it and it's even more different than what you anticipated. Look at that. They're all 3 different colors: the tube, the paint, and the way that it comes out on the paper. But we're just gonna go with it. It's kind of easier, so we're going in with a 3rd color right now. It's easier to go with the flow when you know, when you have a heads up, like I did, that the tube and the paint are not gonna be the same color, you know? So if I'm honest, I crashed out a little bit when I first used these because I was expecting something different. I had paid for something different, but I decided that it was still valuable to me. Now we're going in with our fourth color here, our fourth tube of paint. And these lines do not have to be straight. They don't have to be perfect. We really just want to even kind of overlap them a little bit because we don't really want gaps between colors. Now we're on our fifth tube of paint. This is what we're working with here. And if you have other brown toned tempera paint sticks, you can definitely use those. I don't have an affiliate link or anything for this set. It's literally, these were the best colors that I've found in all of the tempera paint stick kind of flesh tone options. So now we're in with our sixth paint stick. You know, something I learned, something that we can learn from using these tempera paint sticks is everything doesn't always have to be so refined. We can still create something interesting or something beautiful or something that just expresses where we are with kind of basic or rudimentary tools. We're going in with our seventh paint stick now. And when we're all done using up, I only have 8 colors. We're just gonna repeat the color pattern that we started with. If I had labels for these colors, I would read them out to you, but I don't. So that's just another part of going with the flow. We're just moving with what we have. And then this is our 8th paint stick that we're working with before we start to repeat our pattern. And you know, when you first start to do your art meditation, you might still feel a little uptight from whatever it was that you were just engaged in. And you might not unwind until you're a little bit into the project that you're working on. But just keep with it. Starting from the beginning. I'm just going over to make sure that there isn't a white line in between my colors. Okay. Moving on to another color. Again, this month was Juneteenth, so happy Juneteenth to everybody. Okay, and we're almost at the end of our paper. Something that I really like about tempera paint sticks is that they dry very quickly. So I can just turn this and rest my hand on the paint that we just put down, and I won't smudge anything, and I shouldn't get too much. I got a little bit there, but I shouldn't get too much paint on my skin. I think this is the last color that this page is going to be able to take. And some pigments fill in the toothiness of this watercolor paper. If I said earlier that I was using sketchbook paper, sorry, I meant watercolor paper. Some colors fill in the toothiness a little bit better than others, and that's just what it is. So this is where we are right now in the process. And you can see that this pigment filled in much better than that pigment. And I'm not gonna go back over it to try to fill in those holes. We don't have any gaps between our lines, and that's what we wanted. All right, we're gonna move on to the next part of our step. And we're gonna grab our stencil. And I'm placing my stencil to the right of my paper. So this is how it's gonna be. And I'm leaving a little bit of room around the edges of it as well. And let's just organize our markers so that we've got the Roy G. Biv. So red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and violet. We're not gonna do indigo and violet. We're just gonna do these 6. So we're gonna go in with red first, and this is 605. And let's just start with the top left-hand corner, and acrylic paint on top of tempera paint. This is my first time using this acrylic brush paint. on top of these specific tempera paint sticks. So I'm going with the flow as much as you are, and we'll just see what happens. I don't know if it'll take or not. We might have to do multiple layers. That's okay. You know, sometimes there are stencils that are available for us in life, and we have to decide if us following the pattern of that stencil is actually serving us or not. Like, do we actually want to have that pattern? And maybe we want that pattern, but maybe we want that pattern in another gauge. You know, maybe we wanted bigger leopard print, or maybe we didn't want animal print at all. I think it's really important to understand whose stencil you're using, and it's okay if you try it out, but it's also okay if you decide you don't actually want to stick with that pattern. And I'm just looking at this, the way that this red is coming out, and I feel like we need to go back over it so that we have more coverage and this acrylic paint can build. Okay, now we are moving on to our orange. Ooh, and this orange is sitting so much better on top of this tempera paint already. It's still streaky though. That's okay. So already in this process, I'm thinking if I could do this over again, I would do it using tempera paints that I know handle acrylic paint as a top layer. But if I did that, then I would have been choosing the tempera paints that I didn't really like the color palette of. So I I'm sticking with my decision for now, and we're just gonna make the best of it. Now we're going with yellow. Maybe I need to shake these up more to get more paint out. Even though these are small spots, maybe they need ooh, I feel myself experiencing impatience and just wanting to hurry this up because it's not coming out the way that I wanted it to. And I didn't even realize that I had expectations for this. Here's the thing. This is our art project. We can do whatever we want, and we can see how the project is going. So I'm just gonna hold down the side of the stencil and lift it up to see if I like what's happening. Meh, it's fine. It's just fine. I don't know what would make it better. I do know what would make it better. What would make it better is if we're going in with the green. Is if these acrylic paints were showing up way more opaque on top of these Colorations Tempera paint sticks. And I kind of think this might be a project for actual jars of acrylic paint so that you can add the saturation that you want and not kind of be beholden to however much is controlled through these pens. But the thing is that I don't have jars of acrylic paint, and this is all that I have, and I'm gonna do the best with what I have. But you better believe I'll be looking for some paint after this. We're moving on to blue. And I'm interested to know how your art supplies are faring in this art meditation. So if you did follow along, or if you're looking at what I'm doing and you decide that you want to try it out too and You have some tips for how to help the acrylic sit over this specific brand of tempera paint sticks, or if you used a different kind of paint, or if you did the same thing that I did and you just want to share what your experience was, please comment below. We're moving on to our purple. And this is our last color for these spots. Okay, I think that's it for the stencil. Let's see what it's giving. Okay, so this is where we are with our art, and we've still got about 7 colors left to use, so with our acrylic paint. So let's move forward. Okay, so I think I'm gonna orient my page this way. So I'm putting the smaller bit that's left up here and the larger space at the bottom. And this is portrait, not landscape, portrait. Okay, and we're just going to do some let's organize our colors first. Let's do our baby pink and our sky blue and our white. So let's just start with pink. And I'm gonna put at the top, celebrate. Oh no, let's put it here at the bottom. Okay. I'm gonna go in with the light blue, and you know, I'm not gonna do that actually because that word needs to dry. So let's actually go into this other spot here, this spot at the top, and you can grab any of the colors that are left. So we've got our dark orange, our light orange, our magenta, and then our like tickle me pink. And let's just draw some hearts. Small ones, big ones. These are almost looking like clouds, more so than like how they're not quite opaque. And that's kind of beautiful. Excuse me. It's a water break. I'm gonna go in with my dark orange. And I'm going to go in with my light orange. Oh, and this isn't showing up as light orange at all. Okay, let's pivot. That looks like tan. Let's see on top of this. Okay, that's more regular orange. This orange is showing up pretty well on this acrylic. I mean on the tempera paints. That makes me happy. Okay, and then we're going to go in with our light pink. Did we do that already? I don't know. It doesn't matter. We're just making happy heart clouds appear. And you can make it as dense or as sparse as you want. Oopsies. And let's get some white hearts up in here. Ooh, should we layer it inside? I think that'll help the white to show up better. I hope Celebrate is dry already because my arm is in it. I'm talking about in it. Okay, almost done. Okay, great. So now we're to the bottom and we're going to see if we can, inside of the pink, just trace around the inside so that we've got the inside of the letter. Outlined in white. Okay, and truly this has no rhyme or reason. I don't know why I did this, but it's there now. All right, and now we're gonna go in with our sky blue, and I'm gonna put Pride. Alrighty. We'll do a heart inside of here with the white. And a heart over the eye with the white. And let's do a heart in the R, also with the white. And let's highlight the inside of this with the blue. I mean, not with the blue, with the pink. And let's do some exclamation marks to be celebratory. Okay. Yay, we did it. Look at this. This is a proper piece. It took a lot more time than I anticipated, but I'm proud of what we did, and go us. Okay, let's get into our reading. I'm gonna put that over to the side so it can dry properly. And today we're going to be using Secrets of the Ancestors Oracle by Abiola Abrams. And we'll see if we get to this other deck. For now, in the spirit of Juneteenth, we're gonna go with this deck. Okay. What message do you have for the people? All right, let's see what these cards are. I kind of feel like that one wanted to be first. I don't know. We'll see. Okay. So this is the Huntress, Soul Awakening. It's the number 20 here. And this is Father of Air, Leadership. And that's the number 36. So I feel like one more card needs to come out. Thank you. Okay, this is Father of Fire, Passion Ignited. And that's a number 26. So, I'm getting the message that you have just aligned in a divine way with a higher entity. And whether that higher entity is yourself or ancestors who have your best interest at heart, or whatever deities you pay reverence to, you've aligned yourself with them, and they are helping you with this new vision that you have. And I don't really know if it's a new vision. It might just be a vision that you've had for your life that you didn't think would actually come true because it's taken so long for it to come true. It's taken so long for it to come true, and you had kind of left it alone. And so they're helping you with that, and they're letting you know that there's a ton of energy for you in this. There's a lot of financial stability for you in this. There is community, relationships, a lot of ambition. I think there's a bit of a caution too, just to make sure that you're not burning the candle at both ends, that in all of this fire that you can handle the heat. you're definitely in a leadership position, and you are definitely feeling great about the work that you're doing, the work that you're going to do, what you're preparing, so that you're able to really embody that leadership role that you want. I think the fact that the father of air and the father of fire, the father represents the king in the tarot deck. Abiola Abrams, this deck, The Secret of the Ancestors, it's kind of aligned with the Rider-Waite tarot deck. So the fact that you've got two kings here, that's a big deal. And yeah, just make sure that you are taking care of yourself, because you're stepping into a new plane of existence, and the ancestors, whoever's on the other side, they've got your back, and they're walking with you, and they're witnessing you too. You're not alone in this. I think I will pull one more card just to, in closing, and we're gonna use this Secret Language of Animals Oracle deck by Chip Richards. We're just gonna pick one card. What message do you have for the people? Ooh. Well, that's a lot. I just needed one. I'm just gonna stick with the one that's on top here. And what came out is number 38, Giant Panda. So that's innocence, gentleness, harmony, and balance. Kawaii. Okay. Let's read what it says. Okay, the message. When Panda climbs into your world, he comes with a quiet but very important message. Be kind to yourself. The world around you may be racing with pressures and expectations, and it can be tempting to press yourself to keep up. But the call for this moment is to give yourself the opportunity to retreat into a space and a pace that is calming, that is soothing, and is nurturing to your soul. Sometimes life calls for bursts of accelerated action, but the long-term vitality of all relationships and endeavors comes with the balance of being and doing, of stillness and action, of inward reflection and outward expression. Now is the time to measure and reclaim the balance of yin and yang in your life. As a first step, make self-care and well-being a core value to live by. As you take time to honor and nurture yourself, you will not only find that you have much more to give others in return, you will be sending a clear message to the universe about your choice and worthiness to experience peace and harmony amidst life's great adventure. The more you immerse yourself in activities that feel good to your being, the more those good feeling opportunities will find you and permeate all that you do. Panda's message is to open yourself to the energy of ease, grace, and genuine joy in your daily life. Not just as a reward for hard work, but as a way of being. Let go of past perceptions and programming that may have driven you to extremes. Walk the middle path and bring a sense of beginner's mind to your endeavors. You will find new pockets of fulfillment in places you never imagined. As you integrate your commitment to inner harmony with the pressures of your outer world, it may be important to communicate your values with those around you and create boundaries that honor them. Panda shows us that we can be gentle and strong at the same time. And the affirmation is, I am a beacon of harmony and peace. I experience my life with joy, grace, and ease. Gorgeous. This totally resonates with what we were seeing in these secrets of the ancestors, making sure that you're balancing the yin and yang of your life. Careful that you don't get burned up by all that ambition and all that fire. So we appreciate that affirmation, that confirmation that that's what we need to be doing. And I think this also resonates very much with the art meditation that we did, where it talks about the world around you may be racing with pressures and expectations, and it can be tempting to press yourself to keep up. So we talked about other people giving you a stencil or a pattern, and do you actually want to follow that pattern for your life, or do you want something different? This is so cool that the reading and the art meditation are in alignment. I love it so much, and I really hope that you can embody a life of joy, grace, and ease, and that you can be a beacon of harmony and peace. Thank you so much. I'll see you next time. Bye.